South Africa's first power plants were commissioned in the late 1800s to support mining activities. Over the last century, a large fleet of power plants were built and has contributed to South Africa's economic development. With the looming reality of climate change, there is an urgency for the global energy sector to move toward environmentally sustainable technologies. For countries like South Africa, largely dependent on coal, the transition to intermittent renewable energy sources brings about new challenges. Engineers working in the sector are going to need to cope with increased pressure. Coal-fired plants will experience resource constraints and be forced to operate in adverse conditions, which contributes to increased plant failures. Renewable energy technologies such as concentrated solar power and biomass will need to be developed. Existing industries utilizing thermal processes will be required to adopt innovations that ensure plants operate efficiently and cost-effectively. A new generation of engineers is needed to tackle these challenges. The University of Cape Town is well placed to contribute to this as one of the top-ranked universities on the African continent. The Department of Mechanical Engineering, which celebrated its centenary in 2019, has been consistently producing high-quality graduates and research to support local and international industries. Within the department, the APROM Research Unit and Center for Materials Engineering have specialized capabilities to service the power industry. Through a capacity development program with Eskom, these groups form part of the consortium of universities in the Eskom Power Plant Engineering Institute. This industry-academia collaboration has enabled the development of specialized skills in power plant process modeling, component modeling, material characterization, and artificial intelligence. The postgraduate diploma in power plant engineering has been developed with inputs from internationally renowned academics, utilities, and original equipment manufacturers. Students need to complete 8 courses which can be taken over 2 years. The program is aimed at working professionals interested in doing part-time studies. To minimize time away from work, students only need to physically attend 4 block weeks of teaching per year. The remainder of the teaching is done via correspondence through our learner management system, Vula. So, why should you consider this program? If you are an individual working or interested in power plants, this program will provide you with the necessary skills to launch your career. As an employer in the power plant operations, a program such as this will advance your workforce to make better decisions, improving your bottom line. The course content provides students with the skills for selecting technologies based on environmental, technical, and economic considerations through understanding the component's operating envelope. Graduates will be able to effectively propose, develop, procure, and execute modifications and lead teams to take on these challenges. These topics and others are covered in 5 compulsory modules. Students are then allowed the freedom to select 3 electives from UCT or several partner universities supporting this program. This enables students to expand their horizon in the rapidly changing energy landscape. The entrance requirement for the postgraduate diploma is a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Technology degree in engineering with adequate marks or demonstrated working knowledge in thermodynamics and fluid mechanics. Courses start with ensuring students are familiarized with the fundamentals. The content then rapidly requires students to develop the specialized skills to effectively understand the multiple facets of the power plant operation. This program can be used as a springboard for you or your employees to advance their careers, improve productivity, and make a substantial impact in the industry. Take the next step and shape the future of the energy sector.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mary Hilton, and welcome to the information session on the Postgraduate Diploma in Power Plant Engineering. I'm the Communication and Marketing Manager in the Faculty of Engineering at the University of Cape Town. We're delighted that you have joined us and trust that you'll find it an informative session this afternoon and that we'll answer the questions you may have. The postgraduate diploma, as you would have heard in the video, is housed in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, which in 2022 was ranked by the QS World University Rankings by subject the best university in South Africa. And the university overall remains the top university in Africa. Our staff are committed to providing you a high-quality education that will prepare you for a successful career in the field of power plant engineering. So this evening, you're first going to meet Associate Professor Malebogo Nkgope, the Deputy Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering at UCT, and she's responsible for postgraduate studies, so we'll give you an overview of the department. This will be followed by Mr. Prahesh Garsai, a lecturer for the program, and Professor Wim Fuels, the program convener. They will both take you through the program details and the application process. This will be followed by the Q&A session, so please post your questions in the chat and we will answer it. As you saw, the session will be recorded, and please keep your mics muted during the talk. So I now, with great pleasure, hand over to Associate Professor Malebogo Nkgope. Who is not here?
Hi, Mary.
Sorry, I see she is not here. Prayesh, am I handing over to you?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
sorry. Malebogo just messaged now she won't be able to make it. But thank you everyone for joining us. We have quite a huge audience, quite a number of people who've joined, and I'm excited I hope to see all of you in next year's program. So I'm going to get straight into it and just talk about the PGDIP in power plant engineering. You've seen, I think the video covers a lot of it gives a very good overview of the program and covers the main points that you should consider. Part of this session is also aimed at ensuring that you understand what is needed. I'll allow you to ask questions about the program, as well as maybe just give some additional information. So we know that there's a huge need to decarbonize our energy sector, and it's been shown that there's a huge need for skills to enable us to go through the pending energy transition. Now, one of the big things that's happening and most likely will come to South Africa is the liberalization of the power market. And what we're going to see is where we had a traditional vertically integrated utility, we're going to have it's opening up, or it's likely to open up into a structure or market where we will have multiple generators owned by IPPs and government and some of the users or consumers, large consumers, will be generating the power and transmitting it through the grid, and then ultimately distributing it to the end user. But the market is also becoming more interesting when we think of the consumer, with solar panels being able to push electricity back onto the grid, and it makes the entire system more complicated but also more interesting. So there's huge opportunities in the area of sector coupling, and here we're going to see things like your hydrogen economy, your various process plants and refineries. All of these industries will increasingly need to be operated more effectively and efficiently. And the thermal fluid processes and the skills we provide through the PGDIP in power plant engineering will enable you to work in most of these types of facilities, especially from a performance monitoring and plant engineering aspect. So the program was developed with the aim to support working professionals and those with a background in engineering. Ideally, you should have some experience that you bring to the class. And you'd like to develop your skills to improve the operation or energy conversion systems in power plants, as well as the content that has been developed in very close cooperation with not only academics, but also researchers, industrial experts working in the sector. So all of the courses are offered in block format. So every year you need to attend a minimum of 4 courses. And for each course, you'd need to be at UCT for 1 week. We've looked at all of the options for how to address or how to set up these block weeks. And even though many would see the benefit of having some of these block weeks back to back, for the benefit of the students and your learning outcomes, we've decided that all courses will be run in 4 separate blocks throughout the year. Each student should take no more than 2 courses per semester because, as you'll see, the workload is quite a lot. So there are 5 core modules that you will need to take at UCT. Then there are 3 elective modules which you can take either at UCT, Stellenbosch, or University of Pretoria. And I'm going to give you an overview of some of the topics offered at these our partner universities. But what is really interesting and exciting about this program is that it gives you a base skill set, a base set of skills in that what we believe is important for a power plant engineer. And then you can kind of flavor your qualification with maybe a bit of renewable energy from Stellenbosch or asset management from University of Pretoria. So it doesn't tie you into a very specialized field. It gives you some opportunities once you're in it to understand where you'd like to go. There are 5 core modules. These are, the first is the overview of the power plant industry. Second, power plant systems analysis. Then we look at systems engineering, mechanical behavior of materials, and then leadership in a technical environment. UCT offers 3 elective modules. The first being power plant boilers, thermal fluid processes and controls, turbine plant engineering, and flexible power system operation. So all 3 of these topics are very specialized, but they give you a deep insight into either the boiler design and boiler operation, turbine plant engineering, things that you need to look in as a turbine plant engineer, as well as understanding how this new flexible grids are going to operate. At other institutions, we've got, as I said, Stellenbosch on renewable energy topics and University of Pretoria in the area of asset management. Now, the program is made up of 8 courses, which you would need to take over 2 years. We don't offer all the courses in every year. So what we do is we offer 4 courses per year. In some years, you need to do you need to select 4 courses. In every second year, which in this cycle would be in 2024, students would need to only do the core modules at UCT. And next year, students would be already allowed to look into doing the elective modules at UCT or our partner universities. And it's very beneficial for the students that we run it this way. It allows firstly students to kind of mingle. You get a bigger opportunity to interact with people from different backgrounds, as well as it allows us to coordinate students a lot better. So in the 2023 academic year, you're going to be looking at leadership in a technical environment as being the only core module offered in semester 1. And then the elective at UCT that will be run in semester 1 is flexible power system operation. And in semester 2, the boiler and turbine engineering courses will take place at UCT. And I've identified 5 courses that could be run at Stellenbosch or University of Pretoria. These are subject to change depending on whether these institutions are going to run it. But ideally, these would be the types of courses you would be doing. Now, the teaching mode typically happens over 1 semester. So a semester is 6 months. And at some point in the start of the year, you'd have a kickoff meeting. Here, this is web-based, so we all meet on MS Teams. The lecturer will give you an overview of the course content, what you need to be prepared for, and give you some assignments that you're going to be doing over the next few weeks. And sometimes there may even be some online web interactions. So once you get to the block week, you would have completed these assignments, and these assignments are there to prepare you to ensure that when you get to the block week, you are at a certain level of competency that we can actually then engage in the technical content related to this course. And after the after the contact week, you'd have a few more assignments, and then an examination, or for some courses, you'd have a large project that you need to submit. So we require students to apply fundamental knowledge to interpret these practical applications. We also want we've decided that all courses are run in person, and this is again for the benefit of the students. Working in the class promotes learning through interaction with other students and the lecturer. It allows us to really engage, and where students don't fully understand something, it allows us to pick things up and then adjust or adapt the way we talk about things to allow students to learn better. So all courses are given in person, especially for academic purposes. Now, COVID-19, even though the regulations have been lifted, we will follow any COVID-19 policies that may or may not happen. So the eligibility criteria for this program is that you need at least an NQF 7 qualification. Therefore, as said in the video, a BSc Eng, a B-Eng, or BTech degree. Unfortunately, we do not take on students who've got a national diploma. There's quite a lot of maths and physics that we covered through this program that is not necessarily covered in those diplomas, and it perhaps doesn't give these students from those backgrounds enough to keep up with the content. So yes, Kwame.
I can just add the advanced diploma is also at the NQF level 7. That's similar to the BTech. So the advanced diploma is also considered.
All right, thanks. Yeah, and students from a mechanical or chemical engineering background are ideally suited, but if you're from an electrical or perhaps civil engineering, if you show your academic strength and some prior exposure to thermal plants, then yeah, you are welcome to apply. So the courses are going to be structured where we are all going to start with fundamentals, and this really we start right at the bottom where it all at the simplest possible way we can teach stuff, and then we go through a steep learning curve where we're going to look at the real crux of the specialized topics within the course, and the aim at the end of these courses is to allow you to apply this knowledge for something useful. And because this course is aimed at industry, you are very likely to see the content related to problems that you experience in your own working environment, whether you be working on a power plant or any process plant in industry. So typically our course costs are not yet confirmed for 2023, but for budgeting purposes, we ask students or potential students to budget based on this year's fees, which was 31,000 Rand, and put in an 8 to 10% increase for budgeting purposes. And students should also budget for travel and accommodation. You'll need to be here for 4 weeks per year and spend approximately 6 nights for each course. So one of the things I often get questions on is funding opportunities. So there are funding opportunities or funders out there willing to fund working professionals in these fields. Often the SETAs do provide funding. We don't necessarily facilitate this funding, but we encourage all students to look for it. And if you find funding and need us to sign some forms or anything, just let us know and we'll be happy to assist you. But yeah, we haven't been able to directly assist with contact with funding agencies. So to apply, yes,
can I just chip in? Maybe just to make 100% sure, because next year there will be a lot of electives. The funds that Press showed is per course if you take it at UCT. So I mean, it doesn't you don't pay anything else than the course that you take. So if you only take one elective at UCT, that will be just around about 7,000. The other universities obviously have got their own costs and registration fees and stuff like that, which we don't necessarily control, but they are more or less similar to the estimates that we provide on this side.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, so sorry, I made a bit of a mistake here. It's 2022. Good handwriting. So the applications can be accessed on our at this link, which we'll also provide after the presentation. When you performing the application process, use the program code EG010 MEC11. All you need is a working email address, South African ID number, and if you're an international applicant, you need to use your passport number. The applications close on the 31st of October, so please get your applications in as soon as possible. So maybe just a quick overview of the courses. So the first course that we're going to talk about is the overview of the power plant industry, and this really sets the scene and gives you a high-level understanding of the sector, and it gives you an understanding of what the power plant industry or the power industry is currently doing, where are we going, and what do we need to consider in the high-level understanding of the sector, as well as the financial, technical, and environmental aspects. And we finally finished this course with looking at the energy mix and how these energy mix models are developed. Then power plant systems analysis is an interesting course that lays the foundations for thermal fluid process modeling. But what this does is it specifically looks at power plants, where perhaps in your undergrad you would have looked at thermal fluids from a more broader sense. But here the aim is to look at specifically power plants and the thermal fluid processes that occur within a power plant. We give a review on the fundamentals. You look at all of the basic components, understand how to perform a cycle analysis. We even include some air and flue gas cycle analysis, and then build steam power plant cycle models, which are integrated with these air flue gas cycle analyses. Another very interesting course is the mechanical behavior of materials. As we all know, working on plants and the materials, the issues related to material failures is an area of big concern. So we give you a very detailed overview or understanding of the topics related to material sciences. We then look at systems engineering, and this is really how we act as engineers. We cover a variety of topics related to the system lifecycle, your developing your URS or specification, verification and validation, some contract management, systems analysis. And as you can see, it's a wide range of topics that covers areas in the field of systems engineering. Wim is actually the lecturer there. And Wim, is there anything you'd like to add on this?
Well, yeah, not specifically. This is the discipline of system engineering, which we all get exposed to, but we never actually get taught the fundamentals and the whole process around it. So it's good to actually get that basis around systems engineering.
And then the last core module is called Leadership in a Technical Environment. Now, you'll see a lot of the courses that I've spoken about previously are very technical, and they look at the real details related to plants. But as engineers, we do work with other engineers who are human. And when working with humans, we need to lead and work as leaders in our organizations. If anything needs to happen, we cannot do it by ourselves. And really, this course gives you an understanding to understand how to influence a group of people towards a goal and maximize their performance. And it gives you the softer skills needed in working. Hi, am I back?
Yes, you're back. I was wondering if it was on our side.
Okay, so I'm not sure if Vim, did I get through the leadership in a technical environment slide?
You dropped off halfway through the leadership part.
Yeah. So the leadership course really just gives you an understanding of all the softer skills that one needs to develop as an engineer. And I think it's
present.
is it presenting?
Presentation is off.
Oh. Is it on now?
Yes, go.
Yeah. So leadership, as I mentioned, covers all the softer topics, and then we can look at the elective modules, and we're going to talk a little bit in detail about the ones at UCT. So the first is the power plant boilers, thermal fluid processes and controls. So one may think that with all of the talk about moving to renewable energy sources, why would we want to study boilers? Boilers continue to be a big part of our energy mix. They're not only used for power generation, but they're used in multiple applications in process plants or in process plants and manufacturing plants all over the world. And understanding how to analyze boilers is quite complex. It requires you to understand some complex heat transfer processes such as radiation, convection, and conduction. You need to be able to understand combustion and the calculations related to combustion, as well as the various components that make up a boiler and how we control a boiler through its various operating states. Then turbine plant engineering. So the turbine plant is often the plant which converts the high energy steam that is supplied by a boiler or a solar receiver, and it is used to generate electricity or produce the work needed downstream. So this course gives you a technical an overview of the design, operation, and maintenance of steam turbines, which also includes the broader turbine plant, such as the feed water heaters, condensers, deaerators, and all of the operational requirements for studying for working on the turbine plant itself. A lot of work in the turbine plant area includes developing or understanding faults and failures. So you look at root cause analysis and developing specifications for new build or new equipment. Then the power plant flexible operation course, which is a course that was recently added to our suite, provides participants with an understanding of how do we optimize our power system. So I mentioned earlier that we are moving to a point where we're going to be having multiple companies generating electricity, users producing, supplying, and receiving electricity. And this makes the entire system far more complex to optimize. So to do this, we teach students how these optimization or what considerations one needs to take in doing optimization, and give students the opportunity to engage and work with some modeling software that allows you to study flexible operation of power plants. It's a wonderful course, and it's delivered by an international expert in this field. So yeah, it's definitely one to look out for. We've then got elective modules at Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch has a large history in working on renewable and sustainable energy studies, as well as the University of Pretoria, who've been doing a lot of work through their Center for Asset Integrity Management in asset management for the power industry and industry in general. So with all of that, I'd like to hand over to Mary to manage the Q&A session.
Thank you, Prayesh. I see that Vim has been answering questions in the chat. I'm not sure if anyone else would like to raise a hand if they have a question. There's one. Yes, please go ahead and turn your mic on and ask your question. Nomathemba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nomathemba, have you got a question?
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, and thank you. I couldn't mute my mic because it was disabled. Okay, I have a few questions I could not ask on the chat because I was focusing on the presentation. So the first one that I have is does this get credited when you want to do an MBA, like your postgraduate diploma in business admin?
No, unfortunately, Nomathemba, doing this qualification, all the credits you attain and use to achieve this qualification can't be used in another degree. Once you earn the credits and graduate, those credits then are kind of used up for that qualification, and you can't use it for a second qualification. If you are doing your MBA elsewhere, and if the MBA school allows you to do elective modules at other universities, then perhaps it would be an option, but we'll have to look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, so maybe if I can add help with that, I mean, you are more than welcome to register as an occasional student and just take one of the course modules as self-enrichment or as credit if you want to apply for credit at a different institution, but it's all to do with that institution accepting the course that you take. Yes, you don't have to apply or register for the PGT for the whole program to take some of these courses. You can do it separately.
Okay, and I wanted to, the question for graduation is I answered. Then I wanted to ask about the COVID vaccine. Is it required on application, or it's a good thing to have just in case, maybe during attending of the classes?
Mary, do you have the most formal answer for that?
Yes, the university didn't enforce the vaccination. Of course, because you're in close proximity with a lot of people, it's wise to be vaccinated against it, but it's not a compulsory requirement.
Oh, okay. Thank you. One last question. Do you have any student, or do you know of any student that's funded by Eskom for this?
So as I understand, within the Eskom system, you need to go through your further studies committee at your relevant site, and they will facilitate this, but there's no central management for Eskom students to do this program.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all from my side.
Thanks, Nomathemba. And Simba, I see you have a question. Can you unmute his mic, Prayesh?
Yes, I've unmuted.
Hello?
Yes, Simba.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, as someone who is completing their undergrad, I know the course is aimed at people who are actually working in industry already, but could you tell me how could this course really benefit me? Because I'm still trying to understand, as someone who was doing a lot of, not block modules, but throughout the semester classes on a weekly basis, what sort of changes could I expect?
So perhaps, Bum, do you have a response?
Let me try. So we do have occasionally some students that come directly from undergraduate studies to participate in the PGDIP. It is a little bit less productive for you because we rely on someone to have some background experience. It's geared for working professionals to advance their career, but it doesn't mean that what you learn is not useful. It actually will set you up much better to enter into the power industry. So the theory and the concepts, the theoretical stuff, the academic stuff is usually much easier for most of the students fresh from university. The practical part of it then becomes a bit of a challenge, but that's not necessarily a specific hurdle. I mean, it's something that can be overcome, and especially if you're an eager learner, there's no reason why you should not take on this program and actually have a second qualification behind your name. And in the process, while you're searching for a job, you can actually continue with this qualification as well.
Anything else?
Okay,
Simba?
I understand. Okay.
Yeah,
that it?
was your answer question, Simba?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good answer.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Leon,
thank
I
you.
see your hand. We're just going to take Nelisa's question, which is in the chat. Can I apply in the case where I have a BTEC with 5 years petrochem experience as a rotating equipment reliability, even though I'm still studying undergrad MEC?
So if you're registered at another institution or you're registered for a degree, you can't, you're not allowed to register for second academic qualification in a South African university. So yeah, the answer is no for that. So once your BTEC is done, then or your MEC is done, then you can join the program.
But maybe, I mean, I think that it is possible to apply, but you won't be able to start unless you have completed.
Yeah.
Unless you've completed your current qualification, then that should be fine.
Okay, great, thank you. And then Leon, if you'd like to ask your question.
Yes, thank you very much. It's very interesting and it looks very, very insightful. I just have two questions. The one is a bit more of a technical one. So for the flexible power plant operations course, is that sort of based on the South African future and the integrated resource plan going forward, or is it more a global generalized course to evaluate these kind of mixed grids?
So the focus is South Africa. So all of our examples and the case studies that we do is based on a South African grid. So we actually are quite fortunate. We found a data set of the full costs and all of the details related to how to our power system and what power production costs at Eskom. And this was openly available knowledge. So we've integrated this into our modeling platform. And students actually get a nice way to look at how load shedding and how the various coal prices actually affect our energy mix and how we optimize our grid. So yeah, it's mostly focused on South Africa, but we do include a little bit of international knowledge as well.
No, excellent. Thank you very much. And then the other question is maybe just a simple one that I missed, but can students apply every year, or is it only in 2-year blocks? So can a student, for example, you said the next block starts next year, but can a student, for example, start in 2024 as a first year student, if you like, in the course as well, or is it only for each second year?
No, it's you can apply it in any year. All the courses don't need prerequisites, so you can start at any point in the program.
Okay, thank you very much.
We even go so far as to allow someone to start with the program in the middle of the year. So although we close applications by October and so on, as we open up for new applications, it is possible to actually be approved in the beginning of the year, and the student can actually start taking some of the modules in that same year in the second semester even. So that there's full flexibility in the progression through the course.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Great. Prayesh, I see Nelisa has her hand up.
Let me just let me give her access. Sorry, Nelisa. Yeah, you've got access now, Nelisa.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure. I wanted to ask about the CPD, the information on the website mentioned that you can register or apply to this course as a CPD development something, not for credits. Can you please explain that.
So this the CPD option allows you to you'll attend the course. You won't necessarily need to write the exam or do all the assignments, but by attending the course, you can then and doing the class exercises, you'll be eligible to get 5 CPD points. The CPD aspect of this program is managed through our CPD office, and yeah, we can direct you to them as well. It's also a good option because 5 CPD points is quite big in your PR in your PRN application, your professional registration.
So maybe just to clarify that the CPD points, those are continuous professional development points that the Council of EXA requires professional engineers to accumulate on a yearly basis. So all professional engineers needs to accumulate some CPD points, and courses like these are ideal opportunities for professionals to actually accumulate their credits and get some value add from it.
Sipiwe?
Hello. My question is regarding the contact session, that week for contact sessions. Each day, how long, approximately will each session be on each day? Like how long would the contact session be on each day, basically?
So it's from 8 o'clock till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the lecture time. So in that period, you'll have lectures as well as tutorial sessions to work through some of the assignments. And often you'd be also required to do some homework at night before the next day. Yeah, that's why it's ideal if you get out of your day-to-day workspace and kind of give yourself the time to engage and embed yourself in the learning experience. Anything else, Sipiwe?
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'm not seeing any other questions.
No, I don't either.
Okay, if there aren't any questions, yeah, Wim, maybe you could do some closing remarks.
Okay, I think the big message is that this program is definitely one of the few in the country, or if not the only one that focuses on assisting the power generation industry in gaining more momentum and upskilling the people. We all know about there's the skill problems in Eskom, and it's not only Eskom, it's all over our country. And it's the skills that we are trying to address with this program. It is definitely something that can take you a long distance once you have this qualification. But it requires some personal commitment, the upfront study that you need to do before the block week, obviously. Then the block week is really an intense, hard learning exercise, and then there's usually some assignments afterwards. But it's definitely the effort that worth the effort and the input that you apply. All right, I don't have much more to say. I think we've covered everything.
So thank you, everyone. And yeah, we hope to see you all. Please put in your applications as soon as possible. Go to the UCT website and follow the applications link. All of the information is also on our website. That's www.uct.ac.za/powerplant. I see this is one more question, which we'll answer.
Let me quickly answer. So not all the modules are examined with the exam. Some of the modules you actually only you gain marks throughout the assignments that you submit. For example, the systems engineering course, because it's not really geared to be able to do a full exam on it. So it depends on the type of course that you attend. Maybe something else that we haven't really formally covered in that explicit detail is the fact of acceptance. So Presh only mentioned the NQF level 7. That is a minimum prerequisite. But after that, we definitely look at your application in terms of the motivation for why you want to study this, your background, your prior experience, your marks that you attained at university, undergraduate, as well as some postgraduate marks and stuff like that. This is a university academic type courses, so there is substantial amount of academic content to it. If your maths and thermos. If you haven't done any thermo-related work, it will most likely be very strong uphill for you to go through. And then we will need to be confirmed through some other information that you've been exposed to this industry in the past, or you show strong academic skills. Otherwise, we will just be setting you up for failure. You'll pay for the classes, but you'll just not be able to succeed. And we don't want to just take your money. So make sure that you do a proper application. Motivate what is your background. So you do not have to be a mechanical engineer. It's definitely valid to come in as a electrical engineer. Your thermos will be a little bit older than, rustier than the mechanical engineers, but that doesn't mean you won't be able to do that. The problem is people coming in that's done a qualification in education or in building infrastructure and stuff like that. You will most likely not be able to succeed in the course, because a lot of the content that we cover through you would never have been exposed to. All right.
Okay, yeah, and with that, we can close the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you.
Bye-bye.